is Humphrey Indire, an oil and gas professional, leading in engineering, safety, and the environmental issues. And before us this morning, I have well-selected subject matter experts. Umesikia hiyo? So you better be attentive to what we'll discuss today about sustainable living, about the environment, and celebrating of the World Environmental Day. In Destiny, I serve in the Missions and Discipleship team. While I'm not here, I work at Lexo Energy as the head of engineering, safety, and environment. And with me, I'll start off with Dr. Kiwia. Talk to your people.
Thank you so much, my brother Humphrey. My name is Abed Kiwia, born-again Christian. I am a member of this church, the church that cares. I'm married to Priscilla. Maybe she can wave and wipe at us. Okay, very good. Yes, married, of course. We have 3 children. When I'm not here in church, I work for an organization called AGRA in the areas of soil health, climate and resilience. I also have a number of hustles in the agribusiness sector. In terms of academic qualification, as my brother has also mentioned, I am a research scientist, a scholar, a practitioner of social change. My first degree, Bachelor of Science, is in forestry. Master's in agroforestry in the area of soil, chemistry, and fertility, and Doctor of Philosophy from Warden University, Minnesota, United States of America. Thank you.
I told you. The room is loaded this morning. Shadrach.
Yes, good morning, church.
Good morning.
Yes, and my name is Shadrach Kasonzo. I work for Cereal Growers Association, who was a partner in yesterday's event. Cereal Growers Association, maybe for mention, is a farmer-based member organization, which is working in 26 counties at the moment. We are at Coast Region, Eastern Region, Central Rift. We're also in Central Kenya, Western and Nyanza. What we do as Cereal Growers Association is majorly we do policy advocacy for our farmers because we are a farmer-based organization. We also do a lot of trainings and linkages and information transfer. In that organization, I work as the regional agribusiness coordinator for Lower Eastern. And on matters of education, I did my BS in agribusiness. Yes, and I've done several other courses on that field. So that is what I can say for now.
Let's appreciate our brother Shadrach Kasonzo. Yes, the lady in green, Anne Muthaura.
Hi everyone, my name is Anne Muthaura. I'm an environmentalist by profession and a mother of 4. I'm married to Anne Collins Muthaura. And in Destiny, I serve in this church. I serve in the Destiny World as a flyer, teaching the discoverers. And I work for Farm Forestry, Smallholder Producer Association of Kenya, which is an umbrella organization representing the interests of all farmers in Kenya. We represent 80% of the farmers in Kenya doing food production and forestry conservation and climate change mitigation. My background is on environmental science and climate change analysis.
Thank you so much. Let's appreciate Anne Muthaura. Yeah, and talk of going green and companies going green. Kate.
Thank you for the opportunity and good morning, church. It's nice to be here, and all of you look amazing from here, especially the ones in green. So the effort is totally appreciated. My name is Kate Haswa-Kole. I'm the Corporate Affairs Manager at the Optiven Group. In that capacity, I also double up as the lead for sustainability, which means I'm in charge of the corporate greening agenda. which means that for those of you who have interacted with Optiven, you are aware that we are a green company, not because we sell land. And by the way, we don't sell land. We transform lives through offering ready-to-build properties. So wale wanatusalimia na kusema wapi ploti Maguta, we moved from that one a long time ago. We are in the business of transforming lives. So having said that, allow me to quickly introduce myself in terms of what I have studied. My first degree was from Daystar University, where I did a double major in communication and public relations, having graduated cum laude. So having finished that, I attended various other trainings, including one in marketing from the University of Northwestern in Minnesota. And apart from that, I'm also a MSc graduate from Regent University, where I got my master's in strategic communication. I think it was just last year that I graduated. I've done other courses, including learning Chinese. Why? Because that particular country is leading the revolution when it comes to matters of climate change. Apart from working at Optiven, I also sit on the board of UNGC, which is the United Nations Global Compact, and I'm in charge of strategy on an advisory basis. So it is an appointment that came in by God's grace, basically to leverage on what companies are doing on matters of sustainability. So in a nutshell, that is Kate. And of course, I'm a mother of many. I'm married to Asha Nagilai's brother, and it would be very unfortunate if we counted the children that we have. So we are not allowed to count children. It would be an abuse to my wonderful husband, but I have many, let me put it that way. Thank you very much.
I told you we have experts in the house. Let's appreciate Anne and Kate and Shadrach for that matter. So Dr. Kiria, yesterday, we did a lot of things around planting trees, and as a church, we are celebrating the World Environmental Day. So could you please, in a very brief summary, tell us the genesis of this and how this impacts not only Syokimau, but the whole community and nation at large?
Thank you so much, my brother Humphrey. The genesis of the World Environment Day dates back to 1972, when the United Nations met in Stockholm, Sweden, and declared 5th of June as a day to create awareness about the importance of protecting and conserving the environment. And since then, this particular day is celebrated by 142 nations across the globe. So it's a very important day to create awareness about protecting the environment. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Giria. And Shadrach, I know the civil society is really leading in the area of environmental conversation, and especially when you're talking about CGA. So could you tell us a little more details on that, and especially what the civil society is really doing in this space?
Thank you, my brother. Yes, a Cereal Growers Association, and as I mentioned earlier, we are farmers. And we do every business for farmers. So that means that we are in close contact with the communities. And what we do is that we do a lot of sensitization on issues of climate change, the causes, and the ways to mitigate. And in that breath, we are very keen on agroforestry, and we have just mentioned, which is an integration of crops and trees. We also do a lot of trainings on responsive use of pesticides and disposal of empty pesticides containers, just to ensure that our environment is clean. We also encourage a lot of integration within the farm for biodiversity. And also, and I know Kiria will mention this, we are trying to see how we can link farmers with organizations that are also doing carbon credits, so that besides the benefits that farmers draw from planting trees, they can get some extra money. So we are doing that. And just to mention on the role of civil society, especially when it comes to environmental conservation. One, when you check on the Bible, from Genesis, God created man, and it is the responsibility of men to take care of the environment. Because when Adam was created, he was placed in the Garden of Eden to take care of the trees and what was there. And that is the environment. And also, because when you check on the civil societies, we are in close contact with communities, the form. So that means that we can create a big impact if we can at all do a lot of sensitization. Yes, because we work in the rural areas, in urban cities, everybody is aware of climate change, the causes, but when you go deep in the communities, you realize that most of them don't understand. So I think it's our role to make them understand and understand how they can conserve the environment for their good. So, yes, thanks.
Thank you so much, Shadrach. And Anne, my wife really hates plastics. So do I, being thrown around the compound and all that. And we know the theme for this year's World Environmental Day is to stop plastic pollution. So could you expound a little more on this as well?
Yes, plastics, I will say they are an integral part of our lives, and we cannot live without using them, simply because they are versatile and they are affordable, and working with them is easy even for companies. They are used in packaging, transportation, and all that, so we cannot eliminate the use of plastic. However, their disposal and the environmental effects it has on both the aquatic life and terrestrial environment and even human life is what makes them a concern for us. This year, of course, the theme is a bit plastic pollution or just stop it. However, what it means is that we need to create more awareness on there are plastics that are even more environment friendly, like the PET, polyethylene tripeptide, and you'll find that it has a label inside. Under the plastic, it usually has a label of 1. They are graded in numbers up to number 7. So we have the PET, then we have the high density triethylene, then we also have up to number 7. And then number 7, it means that it's less environmental friendly. And the reason why we are really stopping plastic is because of the environmental effect. I'll say that like for animals, when you just dispose them carelessly, they have a tendency to confuse it for food. So the animals may ingest it, and it will cause entanglement in them, and it may cause their death. And thinking about plastic also is the issue that they are non-biodegradable, meaning they persist so much in the environment, and they take several years, even up to 100 years, for them to be degraded and to rot. Then another concern for me with plastic is that once they start degrading, once they start rotting, they release tiny particles called microplastics. And these ones, they are very small. They can be absorbed in the food chain. They can be thrown in the waters, and they can, actually you can ingest the water and consume those plastics inside, because they are very tiny and they can enter our bodies. Once they enter our bodies, they of course cause health effects. They cause cancers, some cause reproductive problems. So plastic for me is a no. If we can be able to ensure that we do more of recycling, and when buying, you ensure that you buy a more environment-friendly plastic, you can consider the labels. The label is shown with the 3 cycling triangles. Under each plastic, it's supposed to have the numbers. So number 1, 2, up to 3, I would say you can consider, but when going to down number 7, 8, then let's avoid that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Indeed, that is very, very, very detailed. And the other thing is plastics are the leading cause of blockages in our drainage. Yeah, if you move around Syokimau, you'll see that there's a lot of dumping of plastics and all that. And therefore, it's our responsibility to be the change agents. Yes, and Kate, I know we've partnered with various organizations around environmental conservation. And will you tell us more about what Optiven is doing in this field and the role of private entities or companies around environmental conservation, that is?
Okay, thank you for that. And to start with, one of the things that has been advocated in the last, since 2015 as we head towards 2030 is the need for partnerships. Why? Because we realize that for us to win in matters of climatic change, in matters of sustainability, in matters of environmental conservation, we must do this with everybody. Why? Because when it doesn't rain, all of us are affected by the sudden storms, by the temperature rise, by the lack of food. I mean, because I know that Destiny has been involved quite a bit with drought mitigation in various parts of the country. So we embrace that particular SDG, which is SDG number 17 on partnership. Why? Because we are in it together. What affects me affects you. Whether you understand what climate change is or not, it affects you. Towards the time when the whole world was experiencing COVID, it was believed that if we had taken better care of our environment, the effects of COVID would not have reached ile kiwango ilifika. So the reason as Optiven, why we partner with others, is because we understand that we need everybody to be on board, to understand why this goal must be achieved.
Good.
So we have done various partnerships, first of all, of course, with the government, specifically with the government of Kajiado, because when the effects of environmental non-sustainability happen, they affect most that particular part of the country, the semi-arid and arid areas. So we have partnered with that particular government to do advocacy, first of all. As Shadrach said, the people mashinani, hawaelewi what this climate change story is all about. In fact, for them, it's like doing a thesis, you know, for an academic paper or something. It hasn't reached home yet, that it depends on them, it depends on us to be able to make that difference. And it starts with our personal lifestyle. For example, we know that people at Destiny are totally blessed, but does it make sense for you to have 4 cars? You're adding to the carbon emissions. How about you have 2 bicycles to improve your health and to also improve the environment, for example? For the people who know me, and they're here, Nagilai will tell you.
I see some people are clapping.
I know, because they believe that is true. And I know you're blessed. And there are many ways to show that you're blessed, by the way, including giving back to the society, ensuring that your sister ule yako hapo chini ama your brother anainuliwa. So yes, partnerships do work. Why? Because together we achieve more.
Amen. Indeed, together we achieve more. And Shadrach talked about money from trees and carbon credits and all that. I never knew that could happen, that by planting trees, you could literally earn money to yourself. Dr. Kiwia, educate us, please.
Thank you so much, Humphrey. Yes, in the last 2 or 3 decades, the developing countries have pushed the developed countries to pay us here in Africa for planting trees, because we have the land, and if we plant trees, then they can sequester more carbon. And of course, carbon sequestration is just the removal of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and then it's stored either in liquid or solid form. And the trees are very good in doing that. So of late, we have gained mileage in that. Now we have organizations that are able to, assist us in that agenda. And yes, besides the benefits you derive by planting trees, either in agroforestry or for your fodder or for your firewood, you can also be compensated, because those trees are removing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. But it may not benefit you actually as a farmer or as an individual. It makes sense when many farmers are involved in it. And Shadrach here will tell you that the counties where they are working, I know in a program where we are working together, in Kitui and Makueni County, they want to reach 50,000 farmers. And for 50,000 farmers, it makes sense now to get involved in the issue of carbon farming. But you as an individual farmer, you can just earn very little. Just to give you arithmetics, in 1 hectare of land, with good forest cover, you can only have like 4.5 metric tons of carbon dioxide sequestered. And normally, these companies which pay for carbon, they pay at the rate of between 20 to 30 US dollars per metric ton. So if you do the calculation, you find you'll only get like $90 you as an individual per year per hectare. But then if you now multiply that with masses, then it makes sense to get into this. So it is a very good thing, and especially for the county governments to push for this when many farmers can get into it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kiwia. So indeed, there are many areas, or rather many ways of looking at the environment and benefiting from it other than just reaching out to the society as a church. So at this moment, I would like, Kate, what will be your parting shot just in 30 seconds as we continue celebrating the World Environmental Day?
First of all is to welcome all of us to celebrate the World Environment Day in whichever way you know how. Whether you're going to buy a plant for your loved one, whether you're going to donate trees to this church, or whether you're going to participate in an activity, just make sure that you have added value to these God's worlds. That's number one. Number two, just to mention very quickly, because I know I won't be given that opportunity again, the fact that as Optiven, we are actually thinking actively about the effects of the degradation of the environment. So what are we doing about it? Before we sell you the land, we already have a footprint to ensure that it's environmentally friendly. How are we doing that? We are planting trees. Those of you who have interacted with Optiven know that. But apart from that, we are also thinking about waste management. We are thinking about water harvesting. So our storm water harvesting system is actually borrowed from Singapore. So we have adapted that in at least 10 of our projects, which if you'd like to see and measure, you're always welcome. Then, in addition to all that, we are working very closely with the communities at Mashinani level to ensure that our advocacy moves from talk to action. So that is what we are doing. And if you need more information, our very own general manager for the Karen office is here. Perhaps you can just stand, tafadhali. Of course, all of you know
That's Pastor Joe.
Our very own Pastor Joe. And my sister there, Anne tafadhali. Right there. So she'll be out there in case you need any more information. And of course, you can reach me on the Go Green Initiative. We're available on all social media spaces, and we are also available at our offices. Karibuni sana, and together, let's change this planet for the better.
Thank you so much, Kate. Yes, Shadrach, your parting shot, please.
Oh, yes. One is that let's stop planting trees, let's grow trees. Yesterday, I saw we planted a lot of trees, but if you don't nurture them, then we have planted a lot of trees in this world, but when you count on the number of trees that are surviving, you get the rate is too low. So let's grow the trees. Let's water them. Let's take care of them. And then number two, when it comes to environmental conservation, don't think about others. Think about yourself. Do something to conserve the environment. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Shadrach. Indeed, a very good reminder that we grow the trees. Anne, your parting shot.
Mine is to insist that when we are managing our waste, let's use the 7 R's. Now we moved from 3 R's, from 5, now we are at 7. The regift, the rethink, the recover, recycle, and the regulations. Let's know the regulations. Let's create more awareness for those who are experts in this. Let's create more awareness on environment conservation, energy use. Like on energy use, when you're not using your electronics, please, can you switch them off? When you're not using power, it's not a must you sleep with lights on, switch them off. And for the ladies, for the water, it's not a must you shower 3 times in a day. You can shower one time in a day, the other you can sponge bath. Let's save water also. And the last one, and a parting shot for me, is that let's encourage our youths to take up courses that are on agriculture and even forestry. There are so many opportunities out here. We are doing enterprises that are forest related and deriving so much benefits. There is also money in carbon markets. Let's also have those who are doing farming ask for expertise advice. We can do carbon balance analysis for you and tell you if your project will act as a sink or a carbon source. So do not just sit down. Let's do more education and ensure that our youth are involved also. I'm so passionate about the youth and the small children, because even where I work with the schools, greening schools everywhere. If you follow me on social media, you'll see me posting pictures everywhere. We are going planting trees and establishing nurseries in schools. So let's do collective action and collaborate, because alone as AN or as farm forestry, we cannot mitigate climate change. But when we come together, all of us, then you do something on your end, I do something, then we shall achieve all benefits together. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, Daktari.
Thank you so much. My parting shot. Here at Destiny Life Church, we are all in different professions. Doctor of soil, doctor of medicine, and so many. But we have a common denominator, that we all depend on the environment to survive. And so you mismanage the environment, which is part of Mother Nature will have a way to revenge. And when Mother Nature revenges, the consequences are dear and dire. Please take care of the environment. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's appreciate Dr. Kiria. And from myself, I would like just to say that let's continue engaging with the communities. I know we planted the trees, but we progress to now what Shadrach said, that we grow the trees, let's adopt them, and let's continue forming these partnerships that we've already established with institutions and the neighborhoods that we live in. I've been your host, Humphrey Irene. Thank you so much, and let's appreciate these panelists.